This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Welcome to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, midweek. We are officially halfway home to the weekend, and don't forget, tomorrow it's opening day for Major League Baseball, the real opening day. Our program today being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Great time to load up on a six-pack and a pound for dinner tonight. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, your exclusive home for Jayco. RVs, fifth wheels, travel trailers, 18s on the lot, need to go. Save some big bucks. The 19s on the lot also save some big bucks. And check out the great financing packages available today at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Menards. 2 convenient drive-thrus, 3 squares, served up each Monday through Saturday. Yes, they serve a delicious breakfast. So make sure you get a hot cup of coffee to go with your breakfast. Lunch is served, dinner is served as well over at Ray and Cindy's place, Chick-fil-A of Cheyenne. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Yeah, kick a few tires, take a test drive, select 18 models on the lot, which will put some savings in your pocket. The 19s are here. They look absolutely fabulous, and they drive great. Talk with AJ and the crew today over at Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank, banking locations, 2 of them for you. On Vanda High, the original location, the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Talk with my good friend Rick about high-tech banking today, or again, come on in, shake some hands, and do banking the old-fashioned way, customer service-wise. Medicap Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical needs with your doctor's prescription. Let Gene and his staff fill those prescriptions. Explain those medications to you. Remember, they got a convenient drive-through. They have a plethora of goodies inside as far as meds and, maybe you need a brace or, a bandage. They even have that for you in there, too. Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, ×2, the auto and truck repair center with a plethora of bays to get the job done and get it done right for you, where they accept most insurances. So do check out with Heather over there at Lennox Auto Body, where they'll take good care of you over on Dunn Avenue. They have the Auto Glass and Detail Center, which is located on Pershing Boulevard. First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. I was talking to my good friend Tad today over at First Year Bank, and you know what? Again, they are offering some great annual percentage yields on special CD rates that are going on right now at First Year Bank. Across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. Yes, I took Sunday Boy out today. We saw our good buddy Joe over there. Had some delicious Paisan cuisine at its finest from Mondello's Pizzeria. And again, pizza, what the Nixter went, sandwiches, which way I went, because I love those fresh baked rolls over there. And again, everything is fresh. Matter of fact, Joe was flipping up some pies when we were leaving as well. Stromboli, calzones, all delicious all the time. See Mondello's for lunch and dinner in the Greenway Commons at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. And we also want to thank Marv's Plumbing and Heating, always on the job 24/7. Remember, anything goes wrong inside your household, you give Marv's a call. They're located at 1515 Logan Avenue. And we get things underway with our scoreboard. It's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
NHL action for tonight, 4 games on the slate, and you will see the Philadelphia Flyers at home at the Wells Fargo Center take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Also, 2 Boston Bruins at home. They will host the New York Rangers. You can see that game on NBC Sports Network. Calgary Flames as well at home. They will host the Dallas Stars. And last but not least, a game happening down at the Pepsi Center. It will also be on NBC Sports Network. Game that I will be fortunate enough to attend. The Colorado Avalanche, they will play host to the Vegas Golden Knights, my Vegas Golden Knights, coming up tonight down there in Denver, Colorado. Playoff clinching scenarios right now as well for the Vegas Golden Knights. They can clinch a playoff berth if they are able to earn at least 1 point against the Colorado Avalanche tonight. And the St. Louis Blues, who are idle, will clinch a playoff berth if Colorado loses to Vegas in regulation. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
And on the NBA scoreboard will be the Trailblazers and the Bulls tonight. They will match up in the United Center. Warriors will try to retake the number 1 seed in the West as they will match up with the Grizz in the FedEx Forum in Memphis, Tennessee. They are tied right now with the Denver Nuggets at 50-23. Pacers and the Thunder in the Chesapeake Energy Arena in OKC. Wizards and the Suns at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. And at the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City, the Lakers and the Jazz hook up later on tonight. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
Was the afternoon, and it is Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti along with Nick Perotti, who mentioned he's going to the Can tonight to watch the Avs and the Vegas Golden Knights. Of course, there'll be a stoppage of play after the first period because Nick's going to be in attendance tonight. They're all excited down there that you're going to be showing
At least
up.
hopefully the Vegas faithful, again, gave enough coverage to the Golden Knights last season. Again, a team that, when living out in Las Vegas, watch the inception to where it is, again, of last year, the culmination of making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So,
a little bit of a drop-off this year.
Yeah, but they're still, again,
I
right?
didn't say they are bad. I just said they had a little bit of a drop-off this year.
Oh, well, again, a team that's been here, done it, second year of the franchise's existence, still have a shot, at least again tonight, to at least clinch a playoff spot. Still in the thick of things for the Vegas Golden Knights. Again, if they earn at least 1 point against Colorado tonight, they are in the playoffs, again, out there in the Pacific Division. So the Colorado, at least Avalanche, looking to at least stop the Vegas Golden Knights. It's going to be tough, though, because Avs right now, a team that it does have their backs against the wall. Vegas, again, team that's been fairly hot. They've
two teams that are playing well here in the last 10 games. Vegas has won 7 out of their last 10. They had a tie, and the Avs have won 6 out of their last 10 with a tie as well. So, again, two teams that are playing good hockey right now. And in the case of the Avalanche, really the Pepsi can has not been the dominating force. So this one is up for grabs tonight. And like you said, Vegas can get into the playoffs. Avs are fighting for their playoff life right now as they're an extra point now behind Dallas.
Well, and again, did not help them last night as well, too, for the Arizona Coyotes, where they ended up picking up victory. So right now, Colorado Avalanche, it is a team right now sitting in that second wildcard spot. Again, backs are up against the wall, and they're trying to do everything to make it back into the playoffs. Again, not a guarantee so far for this Avs team, who has a lot of teams still within a few points of them, kind of nipping at their heels, that are playing some pretty good hockey right here at the tail end of the season. So, again, that's coming up tonight. Again, that is going to be nationally televised, happening down there at the Pepsi Center. Speaking of which, we'll keep on the hockey theme, as coming up here in about 20 minutes or so, we will talk with the voice of the Colorado Eagles. We'll talk AAA hockey, or at least American Hockey League. Again, with the Colorado Eagles, they are also, too, winding down the season. They are trying to fight for their playoff lives right now, as they sit in 4th place right now in the Pacific Division of the AHL. They sit right behind Bakersfield, San Diego, and San Jose. They are tied, however, with San Jose at 71 points, but they have played 3 more games than the Barracuda. So we will talk with Kevin McGlue, again, the voice of the Colorado Eagles, coming up here in a few minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, with the American Hockey League, as opposed to, again, they had, single hockey? I guess it would be A-League hockey last year, right?
I don't know what
this is AAA. right here.
How about they play Double-A if you want to put up that? It was Double-A to Triple-A, and now
yeah. So I guess my interesting thought would be, what's the difference? That
they play at Triple-A, not Double-A.
No, I mean, is the game faster? Are they bigger? Are they stronger? Hockey. I'm just curious.
I mean, what's the difference is it's AAA and they play hockey.
Well, and the one thing, too, welcome to the American Hockey League, the Eagles this year.
Yeah, finding that it's not a cruise of what they saw in the ECHL of at least the past couple of seasons. So there
are some good squads. The Condors of Bakersfield have been, if I remember right, they have been a pretty decent outfit here for the last few years. So, yeah, we'll get his thoughts on it. And
get a lot of things to discuss, as we haven't at least discussed a whole lot of Colorado Eagles, at least here, at least this season on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, a team that's kind of sat middle of the pack throughout its season there in the Pacific Division, just kind of riding the highs and lows. And, again, a franchise that's dealing right now of, especially where you got the big club fighting for playoff lives, where they need call-ups, they need players, or at least the best you can offer for the Colorado Eagles. So, again, it's a franchise that is, for the first time, having to realize of a few more call-ups than it did last year to its Double-A status to the Triple-A team that was originally last year, the San Antonio Rampage. So again, interested to hear his thoughts, see where at least state of the franchise is right now, again, where they have only 6 games remaining on the schedule. They will, at least looking for the Colorado Eagles, they will be on the road at Tucson for 2. They will be in Chicago to take on the Wolves, at least Central Division leading Chicago Wolves, and then they will end the season at home there at the Budweiser Event Center against those San Jose Barracudas.
And the Eagles, to a certain degree, have mirrored the Avalanche season. I mean, they have won, one game less than the Avalanche, but then again, too, have lost five games less. Where the Avalanche have really been hurt this season, if you look at the standings right now, they've suffered like 13 overtime losses.
Yeah.
So, and that,
again, it equates to a point, but yes, you'd rather have the extra there, but it is those overtime losses a little bit of a saving grace, but it's something you'd rather come away with those full 2 points. But that's the nature of the beast. You need to at least take care of those. That tells me that the Avs are still that kind of developing team where they have yet to at least kind of figure out, or at least try to pull away most of those at least overtime victories. So
and again, they get a team luckily tonight. And again, I'm not going to take anything away from the Vegas Golden Knights.
You better.
Vegas is about 500 on the road.
Yeah.
And the Avalanche are a little above 500 at home. So again, like I said, the can has not been great to the Avalanche. So they're going to get a Vegas team that can play 500 on the road.
It's a Vegas team that knows what's at stake here tonight. Again, knows that they can clinch a playoff berth here tonight if they at least get 1 point. So it is a Vegas team that is going to play with all full effort. It is going to try and play at least a little bit of hometown spoiler there in Denver, Colorado. So we'll see what happens with the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that is dealing with its own kind of issues right now. It's had ups and downs with players, injuries, kind of what we saw last year as well with this Vegas Golden Knights team. Yes, they've taken a bit of a downfall. That's going to happen with a team. Last year was something so special that it's going to be hard to repeat, but it speaks wonders of this franchise. Again, an expansion franchise that was in existence for first year last year, that made it to the Stanley Cup Finals and is still continuing its success, still on the verge. It's a guarantee at this point that Vegas is going to make it to the playoffs. Again, all they need is 1 point, and they have that shot here tonight. So it speaks wonders to this franchise.
I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does go overtime tonight. Would not be surprised.
I hope not. I'd like to get home early.
Well, doesn't matter. It's going to probably happen. The thing that's impressive, talking about the home records, and they just seem to impress you more and more. Will they go far in the playoffs? Don't know. But Tampa, 32-6-2.
Yeah, the Mill Arena.
They used to be in the Ice Palace. I don't know what they call it now.
The Mill Arena.
Yeah, but I mean that in 40 contests, 32-6-2, and that is some serious win percentage there at home.
Well, and Tampa Bay, and give credit to, it's kind of weird for Tampa Bay, at least in general as a sports hub, where you look at the Rays, hardly ever do fans ever show up for Rays games unless they are successful. Kind of say with the Buccaneers, fans are they're definitely fair weather out there. They're the western part of Florida there at the tip, but it is credit, though, to those Lightning fans. The Lightning do have a huge faithful down there where, again, obviously they are very successful. They have been for recent years. Had a cup. And right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning, it is probably one of the feared spots to play right now. Again, going into the playoffs, it certainly will be. But Tampa Bay is still kind of on that same vein with the Washington Caps of years past compared to last year of they have phenomenal regular seasons. We get that, but in the playoffs, you don't know what team's going to show up. Do they come in a little too overconfident? And I think that could be a good possibility. They've already clinched the President's Cup here with plenty of games still remaining. You wonder if this team just kind of gets a little too big-headed of, hey, we're on cruise mode. We can rest some players. We don't have to try. But also, we've already clinched everything.
But also, too, you get some guys healed up because, again, everybody at this time of year is banged.
But again, does that affect this team heading into the playoffs where you have those players sit down? They're not getting as much experience, not getting at least those
I think
reps.
lesson was learned last year, though, Nick. They really thought they had this thing all wrapped up, and they got booted early.
Tampa Bay is the favorite, but again, you cannot disrespect the Washington Capitals.
They're
that is a team that
champions.
You can't disrespect the Pittsburgh Penguins, a team that knows how to win champions, at least Stanley Cups as well too. It's not going to be an easy route in the Eastern Conference for Tampa Bay. They should be the favorites, but there are still teams that can easily compete with them.
Yeah, we've said before, and not even on this show.
And I'll even toss out the Islanders. The Islanders, as much as they go through a roller coaster ride.
Washington was that team before. It was President Cup winner, and then all of a sudden they just
they
flip-flop
between those two franchises. It's either Tampa Bay or Washington, and we see what happens compared again. You Knicks last season where Washington finally got over the hump and finally got that cup. It was basically splitting the hair between Tampa Bay and Washington of you take that President's Cup, and then it was ultimately worthless.
Right.
Where, hey, the regular season was a joke, apparently, because you failed to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, you failed to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, and it finally took Washington, nice little momentum, nice little focus to do it last year.
You look at the franchise, though, with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and what I like about this franchise, they quietly built this team into a powerhouse. I mean, it's one team that I can't even remember when they.
It's not a
they won their
franchise.
They won their Stanley Cup in 2004, if I remember right.
It was a while back, yeah.
But I mean, they haven't been like 30, 40 years in the league. They've only been around.
No, it's an expansion franchise around the same vein of I think with Anaheim.
But I'm just saying they have slowly, over the years, built a powerhouse team. Yeah. Now, how far they can go in the playoffs, that's up to them.
Well, it speaks volumes, even with the anomaly that has been this season and a few other seasons for the Anaheim Ducks. You look at that franchise where that is, even though they have one cup as well, they've been to the Stanley Cup Finals twice in existence, again, where they lost to the New Jersey Devils, but you look with the Anaheim Ducks or even the Mighty Ducks, it's a franchise that is kind of built on winning. Like I said, for this season, it's kind of that anomaly year where, they're not winning the Pacific? They're not going to make it to the playoffs? It's kind of that question mark, and it kind of speaks. It's interesting of how the NHL works, where these expansion franchises, where you would imagine for maybe 10 seasons, or it would take them a while to get that kind of prestige level. No, they kind of all just hit the ground running, got to at least, I'm not going to say take advantage of the expansion drafts, or at least did well, but it's just very surprising what we're seeing with Vegas, what we saw with Anaheim, what we're seeing with Tampa Bay, these early,
exits.
Well, not even the early exits. I don't even know what you're talking about, but it's more so of how these franchises are establishing themselves as powerhouses out of the get-go. That they're just hitting the ground, at least ground running, and just saying, hey, we're here, respect us.
Well, and you look at Tampa, though, just going through some of the records here, and you think back 2016-17 season, they were fifth in the Atlantic Division. They didn't even qualify for playoffs. That has been like the only blip that they've had in recent years.
Yeah.
I mean, they have 13-14 season, they had 101 points, lost in the first round to the Canadians. 50-24 the next year, lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the Blackhawks. The 15-16 season, lost in conference finals to the Penguins. And last year, they lost in the conference finals to the Capitals. When you think of playoffs, especially in the East, you always can bank on Tampa Bay. Again, a franchise.
Yes and no.
Well,
yes and
in
no.
the early part of their start, they were not. They were
like I said, we've seen
over.
talented Tampa Bay teams come into the playoffs and just lay an egg where they're out in the first round to where they're getting upset by a wild card team or just some team that is completely just out of the norm of Tampa Bay. How'd you struggle against them? Again, Tampa Bay is that team right now where you expect them in the playoffs. They are that same vein of the Washington Nationals, at least to cross sports.
Capitals.
I'm talking Nationals.
Oh, you're talking baseball.
I'm talking baseball of where a team that
They're
is
expected to get to the playoffs.
Expected to get to the playoffs, and you're expecting them to not make it far as well too, or at least you don't know what to anticipate come playoff time. So for the Tampa Bay Lightning, right now, I give them a lot of respect. Are they in my personal opinion, favorite to make at least represent the East in the Stanley Cup Finals this season? No, I think if anything, I would not be surprised if the Capitals get back there again to defend their cup.
Yeah, and it wouldn't shock anybody. I think if you are a hockey fan, it wouldn't shock anyone that the Caps and the Lightning would be battling for the Eastern Conference Finals.
If I had to choose an Eastern Conference Finals right now of two teams, I'd go Capitals, and obviously it does depend on matchups, but ideally of two teams that I think could reach it or at least match up together in the Eastern Conference Finals and battle it out, I think one would be the Washington Capitals, and the other team that could surprise a few folks, and they've surprised this season, I go with the New York Islanders.
I figured you were going to say the Islanders on that one. I think they're going to be a first-round exit.
I don't think so.
I just got that sneaky suspicion. Speaking of Tampa, I want to switch it over to baseball real quick because I don't know if you heard this. In the Trop, the Tampa Bay Rays are exploring the possibility of using blue lights.
I already saw it.
To tint the roof.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
It has like an ocean, or at least a pool kind of.
Well, the whole deal is they're trying to give. This has got to be the worst dome stadium to play baseball.
Well, supposedly they're looking at getting out of Tropicana and they're building a new facility.
That thing's been. It's like they're building it.
But I thought I thought the Rays were for serious about this. It sounded like they had plans and set, or at least they were in the early stages of getting this underway for Tampa Bay. It looks like, or at least it seemed like Tampa Bay, at least the Rays, are no longer going to be at Tropicana for at least for a whole lot more seasons coming.
Well, they're there this year, so the players, everybody's gotten together.
I think they desperately need to be out of Tropicana. There's so many issues, and again with the scaffolding, and you hear players complaining about just, especially outfielders, of just playing in that place. The Rays need to get out.
And nobody shows up.
Yeah.
I mean,
and obviously this is a move to get fans into their. It's kind of like with the Miami Marlins of, hey, let's put all this, fun time, family kind of stuff. Hey, we got a aquarium behind home plate, blah blah blah. It's trying to be creative to get those fans in. Is it going to work? Probably not.
The Trop wasn't the second coming of the Astrodome. But inside,
it's an interesting venue. I would like to go see it, but as a fan, would I want to see full, 81 games there? No, I would not buy season tickets.
See, I'm not a fan of dome stadiums.
I like it. I think it's unique.
I've been
like Safeco. Safeco is kind of cool.
I went to the Astrodome. And the Astrodome to me, they call it the seventh, eighth wonder of the world. It was a building with a roof on it, and I didn't like baseball in there.
It just has a different vibe. Again, I have no problem with Chase Field or whatever it's called for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I forget what new corporate sponsor is on it, but where the Diamondbacks play, I like that roof style. It's just something unique. It's something you don't see a whole lot.
But it's also a roof that can open and close. Okay.
Well,
the Astrodome is boom, it's domed. The Trop can't open. It stays closed.
Well, same with,
and it looks. It looks.
It's same with Minute Maid or whatever whatever corporate sponsor now for the Houston Astros.
But at least it got the train up there. It's got some excitement. Back in the day, it had the center field where it went uphill. Remember?
Yeah.
But see, it had its own uniqueness. The Trop is just dingy. It's just like, ugh. I don't want to go there. And again, now they're going to put this.
I would like to experience it for one game just to say I did. But would I prefer to see games there? Probably not. It just doesn't seem like it's that great of a ballpark in general to
doesn't
see
seem like
baseball.
the seating is, especially if you sit in the outfield.
I was going to say, I think you could get great seating there behind home plate.
You can sit anywhere in the first couple
no
of
one
decks.
shows up to these games.
But, the outfield seating is just awful over there at Tampa. So anyway, and I know we got to get to our first guest here in a couple of minutes, but they are going to try this new LED lighting system. It's installed through the team's home park. Plans to use them this year are pending approval by Major League Baseball, which is not expected to make a decision before the Rays open the season tomorrow against the Astros. The club began testing the blue lights after breaking spring training camp in Port Charlotte this week, with players offering mixed reviews about how effective they might be in helping them track fly balls. Again, same lighting for 81 home dates for the Rays. It doesn't change with the weather outside. It's the same inside. And the one thing too, if you get a sky ball,
it's not good when you're getting mixed reviews though.
Yeah, but I know when you get a sky ball there, you're taking your life in your own hands, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
again, it doesn't help with the scaffolding, which they try to figure out every single season. Of do we hire raise it? Do we remove it? It's a complete mess.
And here's the final part of this. The Rays played an exhibition game at the Trop on yesterday, and the blue lights were turned on during the national anthem, but not during the game. Really?
I don't know.
How do you test it? Holy cow. All right, we do need to take a timeout. We will come back. Kevin McGlue, the voice of the Colorado Eagles, joins us here on 1480 KRAE.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball.
Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
What's the difference between buzz driving and drunk driving? The answer is none. Buzz driving is drunk driving, period. Make sure you make responsible choices that don't endanger yourself and others. Take the pledge today. I'm going to be smart. I won't drive while buzzed. One drink is one too many when you're on the roads. If you drink, have a designated driver. Don't become a statistic, and don't get arrested. Simply put again, buzz driving is drunk driving. And always remember to buckle up. Paid for by Federal Highway Safety Funds.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 67. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36. On Thursday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain with highs around 61. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with snow likely with lows around 31.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today. Larry Perotti, along with Nick Perotti, and the voice of the Colorado Eagles, that being Kevin McGlue. Kevin, it's so nice to have you back in the program. Thank you for joining us once again.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks so much.
Kevin, I'm going to ask the question, not to be dense or anything like that, but, you know, last year it was AA hockey in the Loveland, Fort Collins area. This year it's AAA hockey. You had that opportunity to call these games. Do you see a marked difference between AA and AAA hockey?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question about it. And I think people were kind of wondering about that as you went into the year, you know, how much you would really see that on a game-to-game basis, or, you know, even right off the bat, would it be noticeable? And I think absolutely it is. The skill level is just incredible. And that's not to say that the game in the ECHL you know, just didn't have as much skill as you want to see. It certainly did, but this is just ratcheting it up so close to the NHL. And again, a lot of these guys, you know, swing between the AHL and the NHL over the course of a season, or, you know, these are guys who are 19 or 20 years old who are going to spend, you know, the rest of their career in the NHL. So you're so close to it that, yeah, it's definitely a noticeable difference.
Well, and the other difference that I want to talk with you, Kevin, something that as we were kind of calculating a few things for at least in the league, at least in the AHL, you're looking at teams in the Atlantic, North, and Central Division who are all playing about 67, 68 games at this point in time. You look at the Pacific, however, and Colorado Eagles have played the most out of all those teams at 62, with the Eagles having about 6 games remaining. That equates to 68 games in total. And I'll pick out a team out of the Atlantic, for instance, the Charlotte Checkers, who have played 67 games, and they have about 9 games remaining, so they're going to play about 76 games. So how is it, though, the other divisions are playing a whole lot more hockey compared to what's happening out in the Pacific Division of the AHL?
Right, and that's because this is the only division in the AHL that doesn't have 8 teams. It has 7 teams. So what they have to do is play fewer games and then go off of winning percentage, as opposed to strictly going off of points. And so that's why you're going to see more games being played there. And I think that, you know, as you see Seattle brought in to the fold in the NHL, and they're going to put an AHL team somewhere, you would imagine, very close to where they're at least in proximity logistically. So I don't think it's going to be much longer that you'll see that difference. I think, you know, maybe in 2 years from now, you're going to see a full 8 teams in the Pacific, and they'll probably bump things up to 76 games as well. But for this year, and what you've seen here in the last couple of seasons, is that Pacific Division playing fewer games. And, you know, also you look at it, on the East Coast, there are a lot of spots where, you know, you can go and knock out games in several cities pretty easily, and you can bus between them. They're only, you know, 90 minutes apart, let's say, or maybe 2 hours at the most, whereas in the Pacific, you know, you got to get on a plane to go anywhere that you're going to face someone. So I think just logistically right now, that's made the most sense, and that's why they play fewer games, and it all comes down to winning percentage in the Pacific.
Kevin McGlue joining us, the voice of the Colorado Eagles. You know, Kevin, you said something in my initial question to you about the difference in the game from the AA to the AAA. Did this also have, in your opinion, a sense of Major League Baseball feel to you, with call-ups and those coming back down for rehabbing? I mean, did you see a lot of that throughout the course of the year?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about close to a dozen guys that you've seen, you know, going up and coming down, and guys who have gone up that have basically spent the majority of the year there, and guys who have spent the majority of the year with the Avalanche all of a sudden coming back down here as you know, the Avalanche feel that, you know, they get a better opportunity to see bigger minutes here, or maybe some injuries are healed up, and that creates a little bit of a logjam personnel-wise. So, yeah, you do. You certainly see that. There's no question about it. You know, Andrew Agozzino, for example, was really kind of our stalwart, and he was third in the league in scoring when he got called up by the Avalanche. And, he's still up there right now, and he's been playing well for him, and getting an opportunity. Got his first NHL goal, and had a 2-point night against Las Vegas about a month ago. So, you see that on a regular basis. You watch guys like Ryan Graves, who's found a spot for himself at the NHL level with the Avalanche, and that was a guy that spent some significant time here with Colorado to start the year in the American League. So. Even today, we had Mark Barberio assigned to us on a conditioning stint, and we expect to see him play against Tucson this weekend in two very big games that have some huge playoff implications. So, yeah, it's a regular thing, and I think that's what some of the fans have latched on to is, you go in years past when we were at the AA level and a guy would get called up to the American League, and that guy would go to Newfoundland or he would go to Texas, and, you kind of lose track of him, and now all of a sudden a guy gets called up, he's playing down at the Pepsi Center. You're going to flick on altitude and watch him on TV. So, it's something where I don't think fans get quite as bummed out or quite as upset when they have a player get called up because they know that that guy's going to go play for what is most likely their favorite NHL team.
The thing is, too, and you look at it from a business standpoint, and obviously, the business end of it, and obviously, being the owner of my own business. But with the movement of the AAA franchise to Loveland, and only 50 miles down the road is Denver for the Avalanche, I would think in the case of ownership right now, when they get a chance to go through the books at the end of the year, they're going to find that this move was I guess I'll use the word, very profitable in the long run.
I think there's got to be no question about that, just in terms of the fact that, the logistics of not having to send somebody across the country. Maybe it's just a one-game call-up, or maybe it's just a sense of sending a guy down for a couple of games as a tune-up when he's getting back from an injury. Well, now all of a sudden you just have that guy drive his own vehicle up from his home in Denver up to northern Colorado, so 45 minutes away, and it's very, very easy, and I think it offers a little more flexibility to decide to do some of those things that, if you're sending a guy, let's say, to Newfoundland, where we had our affiliation with St. John's several years ago, it's difficult, and it could be difficult to get guys back in time, and that's the other thing is, if you want to get somebody somewhere in time, that's when it becomes tough. Now, if you're playing at the Pepsi Center and somebody wakes up, they're not feeling good, or they get hurt at the morning skate, you got the flexibility now to make a phone call and have somebody down there in 45 minutes. So, I think the other thing is it allows for, guys like Craig Billington and Joe Sakic to make their way up here and, to watch their young players, to watch their prospects, to watch the way that this team develops and, to just kind of get a sense of the development of their players, not just on paper and not just from the word of scouts and coaches down with their affiliate, but, seeing it with their own two eyes in person and doing so on a more regular basis.
Focusing back on the game aspect for the Colorado Eagles, as we mentioned earlier, 6 games remaining on the schedule for the Colorado Eagles, 2 on the road against Tucson. You'll have 2 games against the Chicago Wolves, and then back at home to host the San Jose Barracuda. Right now for the Colorado Eagles, they sit tied 71 points with San Jose, puts them at 4th place as they play 3 more games than San Jose. But, Kevin, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, at least in earlier conversation, but for the Colorado Eagles, 6 games remaining on this schedule to get it back into the playoffs, or at least for the first time. They're in the AHL. Right now, what do the Colorado Eagles need to do? Just kind of run down playoff scenarios for the Colorado Eagles to at least compete this postseason.
Well, I think first things first, you're trying to fend off the Tucson Roadrunners right now who are in 5th place. And as you had said, they're 4 points back, but they have 2 games in hand. And they're going to catch up next week. So what you want to do is, first things first, you want to go down and take care of business against Tucson this weekend. If you go down there and you don't win, well, all of a sudden, you could find yourself tied in the standings pretty quickly early next week. But if you go down there and you get all 4 points and you get those in regulation in particular, you're going to put some pretty nice space in between yourself and Tucson with just 4 games left. And, I think that for Colorado, you're sitting in a very good spot. Now, I think the other teams that you look at, like San Jose, that Colorado's tied with, you're going to face them head-to-head twice, and they have a really tough schedule coming down the stretch. And I think the same goes for San Diego, and San Diego's only 2 points ahead of Colorado right now. So, there's games in hand, and so you have to do a little bit of scoreboard watching, but, it's not scoreboard watching, at least right now, where you're depending on other teams to do some work for you. It's more just, trying to make the process a little bit easier of trying to get into the playoffs, because if you go down this weekend and you take care of your business and you get 4 points against Tucson, a team that you've been good against all year, that you've gone 8-2 against the Roadrunners, and if you can continue that this weekend, you're going to take a huge step towards getting in the playoffs. And, you know, if the playoffs started today, you'd face Bakersfield. It's a team that's very, very good. They had a 17-game win streak earlier in the year, and, you know, they just kind of took off. They were a 500 team. They went on that tear, and they bolted to first place. And, you know, I think a lot of teams have really struggled against them, but one team that hasn't are the Colorado Eagles. So, you know, if that is a first-round matchup, then so be it. I think Colorado's comfortable with that. And if it starts on the road, you just try to go out there and steal one of the first two. So, you know, I think it's just about getting in. You know, once you get in, anything can happen. A goaltender can get hot. You know, one of your goal scorers really starts to heat up, and you just ride those players. So, you know, I think right now it's just about getting in, and the biggest thing you can do is try to win both games this weekend.
We were talking earlier about the Avalanche at home in the Pepsi Center, where they're 3 games above 500. And of course, at the Budweiser Event Center, I mean, you've been you haven't skipped a beat as far as fan support. Has that fan support made a difference on the home dates for the Eagles this season?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's been a case we're averaging right around 5,000. I think we've sold out, boy, when it's all said and done, we'll have sold out all but 4 of the games at home this year. So that's about 30 sellouts on the year. So, I think fans, again, like you had talked about earlier, they love the Eagles, and that's something that we really are really proud of and very grateful for. But I think they really appreciate the level of hockey that they're seeing. They're seeing guys going up the ladder to the Avalanche, playing in the NHL. And then they're seeing those guys get a chance to come back and rejoin this team. And now they're 21-year-old kids with 15, 20, 25 NHL games under their belt. So I think fans appreciate that. They appreciate the speed and the skill that they see out there. And every night, whether it's the Eagles or the opposition, you're seeing some first-round picks, some top-level talent out there every single night. And the home schedule's been fantastic for Colorado, and the record's very reflective of that. They're 28-4 at home this year. So that's been fantastic for us again.
Final thought for me, and again, on your travels, and again, teams that have visited the Budweiser Event Center, but talk about some of the other AAA affiliates that you saw that were very impressive throughout this season.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, Bakersfield is a very good team. San Jose has been impressive all year long, and that's a similar situation to what the Eagles and Avalanche share. Is San Jose plays in the same building as the San Jose Sharks, so it's very easy to move guys up and down. And, if you're in a big series on a weekend and the Sharks aren't playing, then, they have the opportunity to call some guys up and insert them into the lineup. So, that's a team that I think has been really, really impressive. And then that Chicago Wolves team that the Eagles are going to play next week, wire to wire, they've been really consistent, really good. They have 88 points in the standings. They have the best record in the Western Conference, one of the best records in the entire league. And that's going to be a tough set of games next week, and to do so on the road. So, I think it'll set the table nicely for Colorado. That knock on wood, they get into the postseason. They're going to be playing some really good teams as their last 4 games of the year against Chicago and San Jose.
All right, Kevin. Hey, we want to thank you so much for joining us. It's nice to chat with you again and get caught up on the AAA affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche, the Colorado Eagles. So good luck to the Eagles, and hopefully they'll be playoff bound.
Absolutely. My pleasure, guys. Look forward to talking to you.
All righty. Kevin McGlue, the voice of the Colorado Eagles, joining us live from Loveland. Again, the voice of the Budweiser Event Center as the Eagles, again, like their counterparts.
He's the voice of the event center? How about he's the voice of the Eagles?
The voice of the Eagles in the Budweiser Event Center. Excuse me.
I was going to say, there's someone else who does.
But also, let me go back to what I'm saying here before you throw me off track. Again, both teams. Right now, the Avalanche sit in the driver's seat, even though they're tied with Arizona, but they have one less. They've played one less game than the Coyotes. But again, the Eagles, in their first season here in Colorado, the AAA affiliate, they are
Eagles
playing for their playoff
Eagles
life.
are on the same vein of the Avalanche, where they do have their backs at least somewhat against the wall. Again, do have at least a 4-point advantage over Tucson, but guess what? They have 2 games. Potential for 4 points right there for Tucson to at least tie with the Colorado Eagles. Again, Tucson Roadrunners have played 2 games less than the Colorado Eagles, where they have at least 8 more games remaining on their schedule. So right now, the Colorado Eagles, yes, they are at least they're in control of their own destiny, but it's going to be a very tough route to get to the playoffs. Again, talented teams for the next couple of series, 3 series, again, on the road at Tucson coming up. Those games, at least looking at the schedule, will be this Friday and Saturday down there in Tucson, Arizona. Saturday, April 6th, Sunday, April 7th on the road against the Chicago Wolves. Again, a phenomenal outfit in the Western Conference of the AHL, and then at least wrapping things up at home at the Budweiser Event Center. 2 games Friday, April 12th, and Saturday, April 13th at home against the San Jose Barracuda.
And it's interesting, too, that he noted, the call-ups by the Avalanche. A casino that has gone up, Lewis that's gone up. I think it's at Bodine that has also headed up to the big club. And again, they're listed here on the Eagles roster as inactive.
Well, they're inactive because, again, they're with the Avalanche.
Some guys only played like a couple games and then got called up immediately to the Avs.
That's how it operates, again, where you are the AAA affiliate, and, again, just down the road where, the Avs.
You get your car and you head down.
Obviously, again, what matters most is you want that pro team to at least win as much as they can, again, bring in that revenue and all that fun stuff. So, again, it is the nature of the beast, but Colorado Eagles trying to at least survive in their first year of the AHL. Again, right now they sit at the 4th spot. They would make it into the playoffs. Again, kind of same vein of their Colorado Avalanche counterpart, all that, just kind of fringe team that's going to make it in, but we'll have to face off against those higher seeds. As Kevin mentioned, again, we'll have to, at least if playoffs started now, they would see the number 1 team out of the Pacific, the Bakersfield Condors.
Interesting note, too, that you mentioned, again, the Eagles only have 7 teams in the Western Conference, where all the other teams, or the other conferences, Atlantic, the North, and the Central, have 8 teams. That's why they get extra games.
Well, and again, that's the question I wanted to make sure about, of where, yes, you could tell at least missing 1 team, and again, that will be filled once Seattle gets their NHL franchise, which is looking to be either 2020 or 2021, again, a few years from now. But it's just interesting that the AHL didn't kind of maneuver some pieces of, well, all right, maybe you take on a few teams out of the Eastern Conference for a few series to make it a total of 76 games. It was just kind of interesting. Again, good on the AHL to at least recognize, hey, let's base everything off of, at least in the Pacific, off of winning percentage. So that's how that gets determined out there for the Western Conference, especially there in the Pacific Division, as we need to take a break as well.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll have a little fun here with Nick after these words on 1480 KRAE.
We're starting our 14th year, and we still believe in putting you first by making it easy to own a new Kia vehicle. I'm A.J. Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and right now, we can help get you into a new 2019 Kia Sportage for less than Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, or Ford Escape. The 2019 Kia Sportage comes standard with power-adjustable rear-view mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials.
Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Black Velvet, 1.75-liter bottle, $12.99. Black Box Wine, all available flavors, 3-liter box, $16.99. And Bacardi Rum, light, dark, or limon, 1.75-liter bottle, $18.99.
Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Van High Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Community banking for you.
Why do we work all hours of the night? Head towards challenges instead of turning away. And work together to solve the toughest problems so you can enjoy the little things and all the big moments life has to offer. Tri-State and High West Energy. Brighter, stronger, better together.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need. For electrical, plumbing, paint, and tools, lumber and hardware, we're for you. And we're out to earn your business, yes indeed. Capital Lumber is number one today. Are you listening? Capital Lumber's at your service all the way.
Capital Lumber Company serving our area for over 53 years at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne. Check out this simple math equation. Add new games with new fun, and it equals new ways of winning at Wyoming Downs. Check out the newest simulcasting games on display today featuring Great American Buffalo, Midnight Wolf, and Kiss Me I'm Irish to go along with more exciting simulcasting games in play. Remember to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays and double points on Mondays. Also, Fridays and Saturdays, play Mystery Moolah. Plus, check out all of the other promotions going on every week at Wyoming Downs, with 2 locations to have fun in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Linkaway and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 67. Then tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36. On Thursday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain with highs around 61. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with snow likely with lows around 31.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
You know, the American Hockey League's been around for a long time. And, matter of fact, there's like 3 charter members of the American Hockey League. For example, the Hartford Wolfpack, founded in 1926, joined in 1936. The Utica Comets, 1932 they were founded. They began play back in 1936 and starting play in 1938 with the Hershey Bears. Here's the little game I want to have with you. Well, I'll even go with the West first to make it easy for you.
Let me guess, who's their pro affiliate?
Yeah, so, and I'm sure you have, do you have the answers there?
No,
Okay.
I don't have the answers.
All right,
I can go off of, not saying I'm going to be 100% right on this, but I have confidence.
We already know the Eagles are the Avalanche. The Bakersfield Condors are part of?
I want to go with the Condors or either, I want to say Vancouver.
No, Edmonton.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Now, some of these are pretty easy, too. The Ontario Reign.
That's LA Kings.
And then the San Diego Gulls.
I know that one because it's Anaheim Ducks.
And then, obviously, he already told us about San Jose, the Barracuda. How about the Stockton Heat?
I'd say Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
And Tucson Roadrunners, Arizona.
Okay, now we'll go up into. Now I want to go into the Atlantic division, the Bridgeport.
Atlantic, you don't even say in the Central.
Oh, if you want,
you said it in the West.
All right, we'll go to the Central first.
Chicago Wolves, that's easy. It's Vegas. I know that one.
All right, how about the Grand Rapids Griffins?
This
one will shock you.
Grand Rapids, you go in Michigan. I would assume Detroit.
That's exactly right. Yeah. There was no wool pulling over your eye on that one.
The other one's easy.
Yeah, the Iowa Wild. How about the Manitoba Moose?
I'd say the Winnipeg Jets.
Absolutely. The Milwaukee Admirals. That one to me is a knuckleball.
You've already got trying to think of so for Manitoba. Well, no, at least Milwaukee, the Admirals. Maybe St. Louis Blues.
How about the Nashville Predators?
I guess.
See,
Okay,
like I said, that was a curveball right there, or knuckleball. The Rockford Ice Hogs.
Maybe the Blackhawks.
That's right. Yeah. The San Antonio Rampage.
The former Avs, AAA. I have no idea what they moved on to now.
It'll shock you
because it's not the Dallas Stars. Because I know the Texas Stars are, but San Antonio Rampage. I would move on as we've gone through everyone else. Could that be the Lightning?
How about the St. Louis Blues?
Oh, okay. So I got that flip-flop there.
So in the North, we got a couple minutes left here. The Bellevue Senators don't need to go to that.
No.
Don't need to go to the Binghamton Devils. How about the Cleveland Monsters?
Will that be the Columbus Blue Jackets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then the Laval Rocket.
That one's tough. The Rocket.
Okay, and I'll help you out. They're out of Quebec.
Montreal?
They are the Montreal Canadiens at AAA. The Rochester Americans.
because it's not the Bruins, Americans. It's not the Senators. It's not Toronto.
Where's Rochester located at?
I would say the Rangers.
Yeah, you're not close, but it's
Sabres?
Buffalo Sabres, yeah, a little further north. The Syracuse Crunch.
Is that regarding the Rangers?
This will be another curveball. The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay, so that's well far away. Okay.
We don't need to go to the Toronto Marlies because that's the Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned one of the earlier teams to join the AHL, the Utica Comets. Who are they? The franchise NHL affiliate.
Utica. Again, I'm splitting hairs. I would go once again. I got to go with the gamble of the Rangers.
Vancouver Canucks.
Wow. Okay, so that's a completely curveball there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some of these just don't make any sense. So we go to the Atlantic. We want to go with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
Yeah, Penguins.
That's a can of corn. How about the Providence Bruins? We won't go there.
Bruins, yeah.
Let's see. We will go with and we don't need to go with the Charlotte Checkers. So let's go with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Connecticut. It's not the Devils. Looking at a few other Eastern teams. That one, would it be the Florida Panthers?
New York Islanders.
Okay, fair enough.
The Hartford Wolf Pack.
Rangers.
There you go. The Hershey Bears.
Maybe that one's Florida.
Washington Capitals.
Oh, yeah, I keep on forgetting the Capitals.
The Lehigh Valley Phantoms.
I'd say that's the Flyers.
There you go. That's the Philly Flyers. And last but not least, the Springfield Thunderbirds, Springfield, Massachusetts.
Florida.
There you go. Yeah. That was the last one remaining. So anyway,
not bad.
I actually,
of what I know of AAA affiliates, it's not bad. I think at least for the NHL, AAA affiliates are a lot easier to distinguish compared to the movement that is in at least minor league baseball. For the AAA affiliates of, you look at, Albuquerque. Obviously, you know the kind of at least NL West kind of teams fairly, but that's where at least for minor league affiliations, it gets completely just wacky of just trying to figure out teams. Go figure right now where you had Las Vegas, the 51s, now known as the Las Vegas Aviators. They're now no longer with the Mets. They're with the Oakland A's. That is one where I give respect to the NHL where they are trying to keep kind of those locales as much as some of them are kind of a little bizarre.
There is some distance.
There are, but for the most of them, again, you look at Scranton, the Penguins, they try to keep it where, hey, it's easy to transition from your AAA affiliate to go, oh, okay.
I think your Western Division probably is more in sync.
Well, and the thing that got a little wacky as well, too, is when Vegas did come into the league where Chicago, the Blackhawks, had the Chicago Wolves. Well, Vegas was without a AAA team, so they just handed them the Wolves instead. So, and then again, with the addition to the Eagles, you had to move pieces with the San Antonio Rampage. Again, teams move up and down constantly, but it seems like in the NHL, they try to at least keep those locales, keep those fan bases kind of tight-knit of where you can appreciate both your minor league team and your at least pro team, because that would make the most sense to me of where, okay, I can attend both, whether it is minor league or the professional.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me.
He mentioned the San Jose deal. I thought that was classic.
Yeah, you just play in the SAP Center.
Yeah, and real quick here, the reigning champ, oh, by the way, are the Toronto Marlies.
The Marlies.
Picking up their first American Hockey League crown last year. All right, we have reached the top of the hour. Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today is next.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And it is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk today, being brought to you by a group of great folks. Couldn't do the program without them, and we want them to know we appreciate them each and every day. Mars Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria. Joe, thank you again for the great lunch. Really, really enjoyed it today. We also want, and again, Mondello's located at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D, the Greenway Commons. First Year Bank directly across the street at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Lennox Auto Body with the main auto and truck repair center over on Dunn Avenue and the Auto Glass and Detail Center on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy right there on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank ×2, the original location on Vanda High. The east side location can be found right there at the corner of College and Pershing. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. We want to thank Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, directly across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. You will find the crew over there on Highway 30. And Taco John's of Cheyenne with a plethora of locations. It is the night to grab a 6-pack and a pound from Taco John's. And we get things underway. You know what we get things underway with? Our scoreboard. And it's brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
NHL action for tonight. 4 games on the slate. You will see the Philadelphia Flyers at home. They will be at Wells Fargo Center. They will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boston Bruins at home at TD Garden. They'll take on the New York Rangers. That game could be seen on NBC Sports Network. Calgary Flames at home. They will play host to the Dallas Stars. And last but not least, on NBC Sports Network in prime time, Colorado Avalanche at home at the Pepsi Center will play host to my Vegas Golden Knights, a game that I am so excited to see. Go Knights, go. Again, it will be Vegas taking on the Colorado Avalanche coming up tonight at the Pepsi Can. Vegas Golden Knights as well. With tonight's contest, they can clinch a playoff berth if they are able to earn at least 1 point against the Colorado Avalanche. For the St. Louis Blues, who are idle as well, they will clinch a playoff berth if Colorado loses to Vegas in regulation. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
On the NBA slate, it will be the Trailblazers and the Bulls in the United Center. Warriors looking to grab that number 1 seed again. In the West, as those pesky Denver Nuggets don't go away. Both the Warriors and the Nuggets at 50-23. Warriors get the Grizzlies tonight at the FedEx Forum. Pacers and the Thunder in the Chesapeake Energy Arena, OKC. Wizards and the Suns in the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix. Lakers and the Jazz in the Vivint Smart Home Arena in Salt Lake City. That is the late night contest. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know me, the little round thing between your car seats. Now, listen, we need to talk. Now, I normally have a nice cold bottle of Mountain Dew in me, but at the moment, I'm empty. That's right, no Mountain Dew. Nothing in here but a couple of quarters and a dime. A fully capable cup holder like me just carrying your loose change, it's embarrassing. Look, I'm not made for loose change. I'm round like a bottle of Mountain Dew. Glistening, cold, and delicious. I'm made to keep Mountain Dew within reach at all times, so you're never far from that incredible bold citrus kick whenever you need it. Just inches from your hand. So find a store already, grab some Dew, toss it back, then place that bottle where it belongs, and put that loose change back in your pocket. Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
AJ Miller here for Key of Cheyenne. We're starting our 14th year and still strive to put you first by making it easy for you to own a new Kia. Right now, we can help get you into a 2019 Kia Sorento comparably equipped for less than Toyota Highlander, Jeep Grand Cherokee, or Ford Edge. The 2019 Kia Sorento comes standard with power heated exterior mirrors, rear camera display, remote keyless entry, and more. Come into Kia of Cheyenne, call 775-0123 or go to kiaofcheyenne.com. We'll make it easy.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we concentrate on nothing but your medications and your health. Each location is a locally owned full-service neighborhood pharmacy. We won't make you walk through aisles and aisles of stuff or wait in a long line. Instead, we'll always make time for you by listening, answering your questions, and explaining your prescriptions.
Medicap Pharmacy. We'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Cheyenne Urological has been the cornerstone of urinary care to Cheyenne and its surrounding communities for over 20 years, with doctors Bryant, Everett, Gajewski, and their highly trained staff providing top-quality treatment for prostate cancer, urinary tract infections, kidney stones, impotence, and incontinence. Cheyenne Urological is now offering cutting-edge robotic surgery. So call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 for compassionate, expert urinary care. That's 635-4131. Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, proven and respected when it comes to the care of your vehicle. For nearly 25 years, Cars has been there to repair and fix those minor problems to get you back on the road without major difficulties. And now, as we do more traveling at this time of year, see Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service first for your car or truck when it comes to tuning it up, an oil change, brakes, shocks, work on your air conditioning unit, and so much more. John and his crew at Cars gives your vehicle the precise detail it deserves. Respected with quality workmanship. Always bring your vehicle to Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. Open Monday through Friday.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 67. Then for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36. On Thursday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain with highs around 61. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with snow likely with lows around 31.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on the show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome once again to Wyoming Sports Talk Today, hour number 2. And we get a chance now to talk with our athletic directors here on the local side, on the high school side. We'll get caught up on spring events. Matter of fact, we saw this gentleman this past weekend over at the Post 6 Bash, which was happening at American Legion Post number 6. And we're talking with Chad Whitworth, the athletic director at Cheyenne Central. So, Chad, thanks for dropping by and chatting with us again.
Apparently, Chad wanted to take a break from the older ones at Cheyenne Central to coach little ones.
Well, you know what? And really, I want to get into that, too. Let's talk a little baseball here because – you know, your son, matter of fact, I know you and Jerry Schlabs, your kids have gone through these programs together, and they've put together some winning programs, and you're not out of the coaching ranks. That's a good thing. I like hearing that you're still doing some coaching.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Oh, come on. You know what? A lot of people I talk to and I run into, Chad, especially that played basketball for you, one most recently, Lindsey Fearing,
yeah,
they have nice things to say about you.
You know, on that, I'll get to the baseball thing in a second, but having the opportunity to have seen Lindsey during the regional tournament when, you know, East was hosting and I was over for our girls' game, the first game at East on Thursday, and fortunately for me, Lindsey was there because her team was coming in to play LCCC that night, or it might have been the next night, as a matter of fact. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was next night.
Yeah. But and she got to come over. You know, she saw me, and I hadn't seen her, and she came over and sat down, and we got to have a visit, which was fantastic because, you know, there's those kids out there that I've coached that, you know, Lindsey's coaching at the junior college level. Hillary's moved on and is coaching at the college level, and just to share some stories, and it was just great to catch up with her, and I appreciate what you said because our conversation was similar to that where she said, you know, Chad, some of the things you used to get mad at us about, I kind of get it now, you know, and you know, and certainly to go back to those times when I was coaching, and I certainly understand the image that I had from the public side of that. I'm not a fool, and I get that I look like a maniac and act like it oftentimes as well. But I think, you know, one of the things that I always said to my wife, you know, when we would talk about it is, you know, those people who have these ideas about who I am and the way I am with the kids should talk to the kids. And I think a majority of them, not all of them, and I'm sure there was, you know, I've done a lot of growing myself, but I think a majority of them would tell you, yep, I was tough on them, but I did care about them, and I loved them, and I wanted what was best for them. And I think, you know, Lindsey's one of those kids. We had some moments And I think she would admit that. And I think, her mom and stepdad are the ones that I know the best. Would tell you that I was hard on her, but I was fair, and I really did care about her, and so it was cool to see her.
Right.
But that, I enjoyed that time, and I certainly, there are times where I miss that, having those relationships, because it's certainly different.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, too. Both the games that we had recently with CWC, with the LCCC Lady Golden Eagles, you should definitely go and watch it, because you will see some similarities.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of things from Lindsay, because again, I'm watching the whole court, and even when she's calling a timeout, and I saw some Chad Whitworth and Lindsay Fearing in her coaching,
paying a little homage.
Again, what they learn from you, and go to that next level, whether it's a JC, whether it's a 4-year school, and then they eventually move on and hopefully stay in the business, in the coaching business. There are some things that do resonate with them, and they carry it on to that next level.
Without a doubt, I was fortunate enough, the night they played here during the what I would guess would call their conference season, regular season, whatever it was, I couldn't go. I think my son had something. Anyway, I was on my way home, and I stopped at the Loaf and Jug up there on Vandehei before I went to my house, and they were in there. So I had a chance to at least say hi, give her a hug, and wish her well, but had a chance to visit with her. And so, yeah, it's pretty neat to see and share those moments. And like I said, I certainly miss it because my role now is just different. And I don't have those relationships. I still have relationships with the kids. It's just not the same as when you're with them every single day. When you're on their case and when you're putting your arm around them to share those moments. And much like you said, Larry, the things that they take and you see things in Lindsay that maybe you saw in me. I was coached by Tag Lane and Lou Roney and Dwayne Cook and some of those guys. And I certainly know that I took on, I'd like to think I took on the best parts of all of them and learned so much from all of my experience having played, through Central, and so it's kind of cool to see that or hear that anyway.
And that's got to be the ultimate compliment to you, though, Chad, where you see, again, former players, again, bettering their lives, starting families, having those college careers, coaching basketball, whatever it may be, of seeing those former athletes under you. I mean, whenever we have head coaches in here, again, the end goal, at least for the local on the high school side, is to get them to bigger and better things. So, I mean, just talk about those emotions. You kind of alluded to it a bit, but again, where you are post-coaching, again, still have that athletic role, but you can see those folks that you taught and just having these successful kind of lives that you showed them the way, so to speak.
Yeah, Hillary's probably the best example and the easiest to talk about in that she went to Wyoming, where I had the ability to go see her, a lot more than I have the other kids. Charity, who went to Pacific and then transferred to a junior college. Lindsay, who went to junior college, went to Arizona. I had a chance to see Hillary more, and just the impact and the relationship that she and I had and Lindsay and I had. Chelsea Liebeck, who didn't play basketball but came back and coached in our program. Those are the things that I love to see, and the impact that I want them to have on kids. It is, I wish I could bring all of those kids. I loved all the kids that I had in my program throughout those 9 years. But when I think about those state championship teams, and to share the hard work and what it took to win those state championships. You're looking at some teams that were really, really good in Gillette's and Sheridan, Cheyenne East. I mean, Jerry had a fabulous, run of teams too. And so I wanted those girls to share that knowledge with our team. That's why I was so excited when Hillary and Chelsea were coaching in our program to do that. But to the question, it was fun for me to see Hillary playing in college because I got to be a fan. It was the first time to see one of the kids that, that played at Central that I could just be a fan. And I love Joe Legursky. He is related to my wife. But I got to go, look, I want Hillary to play, and I want Hillary to play well. I want Wyoming to win, But it was sort of fun to be a fan. And then, of course, the success that Coach has had over there with those kids and obviously the connection.
It almost became kind of like a fatherly kind of instinct of, I want her to succeed. I want her to do as well as she can.
It becomes a family affair.
Yeah.
Well, and last year, and I know this year they hooked up with Brace's U, Callie Owen. Wagner Orthodontics when she was running that, and Callie and I had some nice conversations. Again, I remember that loss that you had to Gillette, but I mean, Callie was bombing away from, I think, the concession stand when we were talking. We had a great memory trip down that lane talking about the great game in the event center against Gillette and Mitch Holst.
It is so funny you mentioned that, Larry, and I say that because this past weekend we hosted Thunder Basin. And their bus driver in soccer, and their bus driver was a parent of one of the girls on the Gillette teams, and we were talking about those teams, and I got to talking about that very game because that was a game. It was my first year, and we had made the semis, and it was a really big deal to us. And I love that team, and I credit that team. Anybody who would ask me, I would tell you that winning the state championship, the first one, was a big deal, and probably obviously, for obvious reasons, was sort of the biggest game or most important game maybe in my tenure there. But I think that first round game against Sheridan that we won was probably second because it sort of set a standard and a bar that, hey, we can compete at this level, but we've got to do it consistently. But that particular semifinal game, I don't know that our team should have been in that game.
Yeah, you had no business in that one. Absolutely.
And I tell everybody, speaking of Callie, that she was playing outside of her mind. She was falling out of bounds, hitting shots. She was taking threes. She was doing absolutely everything that we could ask her to do and more. And, we played about as well the first quarter was as good as we could possibly play probably. But even that first half, we were in the game, and I'm sitting there. I remember thinking to myself and telling Ed Kasicki, I'm not going to say a word to these kids because I don't want to ruin this. I mean, but it was fun, and to think back to those times, and that's the really cool part.
And not
of
to
it.
age us, but I also this brings up a point too in coaching, and I think you'll agree with this. Again, Mitch, who's been at Gillette for many years,
good friend.
What they do, the good coaches. So it doesn't get out of hand. They'll shut down that momentum by calling that key timeout. And when he called that timeout, things shifted. It was almost like they got a wake-up call on that bench from Mitch Holst. And again, he's very calm. Both him and Mike Curry, they both come from that same mold of, hey, we're losing. Let's go do what we do best.
My son likes to take shots at me about how Mitch is the greatest girls basketball coach in the history of the state, which is probably true, but he does it because he knows I coached girls basketball. But talking about that, going to the event center that night, I had texted Tag, or I called Tag. I don't even know if we were texting back then. I called Tag because he was the person I was probably closest to still and had his number, and I was pretty nervous about this whole thing. And I'd called him and I said, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, what am I doing? And he said, the timeout thing, he said, just take them. Because if you don't take them to stop momentum and whatever early, they ain't going to matter late. And, which was true. And then I had told Mitch before the game, I said, listen, if you win the tip, you may need to take a timeout for us because we might not know what's going on. This is a new thing for us. And our kids, to their credit and all credit to them, they couldn't have played better that night, and I couldn't have been more proud of the effort that they gave really all year because it was my first year, and they bought in and made me look like I kind of knew what I was doing, and it is all to their credit, and what a cool feeling that was, and what a big night it was for our basketball program, and I really do look back on my tenure there as that first round game, but to get into that semifinal game was probably the second biggest game that we had while I was there.
And I would have same type of memories with Jerry. We'll probably go back down memory lane. But real quick,
I didn't mean to get into that.
Before we get to the break.
At least before the break, I want to kind of at least go off of this theme again, where we're looking back at the past, at least history for Cheyenne Central, especially on the girls basketball kind of side of things. But you now standing again post-coaching career, now athletic director at Cheyenne Central. What's kind of your philosophy on, at least, not necessarily, again, where for me, again, I didn't really get to experience all that. Here I am sitting 28, but again, love enjoying kind of at least listening to the history. I do appreciate what Tag does on the Facebook side. He posts, I think, recently a few things about, again, old, at least kind of Central High programs. But for you as an athletic director,
at least, I like to hear that.
but for you, kind of at least being in that kind of head role over there at Cheyenne Central, of how important is it, at least to kind of reiterate history to those who are coming up through the ranks at Cheyenne Central, to appreciate of where Central was to where it is today?
But does it even matter, though?
Yeah.
I think it matters, and I think that, and I guess when I say that, I think it matters to Central people, and I say that by, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about it, but our football hire with Coach Apodaca, when I did that, and I'll use one person in particular because I know he won't care, John Godina. I happened to run into John, who I ran track with as a freshman. He was a senior, doing things that were unbelievable. And we've stayed in a little bit of contact through different things since then. But it matters to Central people because John's comment to me when I saw him at Frontier Days was, hey, I love your football hire. You hired one of us. And that being said, that doesn't change our culture, right? Like, that doesn't change what our recent past has been. Mm-hmm. But I think that what it does do is allow us maybe to tap into that past a little bit. Mike Tag, who East grad, but knows the history, right? He's posting the history on Facebook right now of all of those things. And to get into the what about me, one of the things that we're going to turn our focus to is building a culture and doing those things and trying to rebuild that and maybe gain the trust of our alumni a little bit and try to get them back in the mix and talking about what it was that we were and try to get back there and the hard work and the things that it takes to achieve the heights that those teams have reached. And I think that's what we're trying to get back, and I think we can. And I think, it's an effort. It's a community effort. It's not just the coaches and the kids and the administration, but it's also parents and our alumni. There's a lot that's going to go into that, and I do feel like we've got the right people in place, to do that and start to tap into those things. And that's going to be our focus, starting like the end of this year and moving forward, is to get us all on the same page with Central High School and try to tap into some of that. I got a call that I have to return. I haven't had a chance to do it. I got it yesterday. And Larry, you've coached or followed and done enough radio around here. Dutch Van Patten,
who was your center,
who was a phenomenal football player for us. He's in California.
He was there with the Godina that group, yeah.
And so I get a call from him about wanting to have a football reunion of a state championship team. And those are the things, and I haven't had a chance to return his call yet, but I'm going to tomorrow. And those are the things we want to tap into because I want those guys to talk to our football team. I had John at Frontier Days. It happened to be at a parade when I ran into him, and our football team happened to be there, that they walk with our band. And so I had John come over, and I said, hey, you got 2 minutes. And he's going, Chad, I got more than 2 minutes. And he comes over and he talks to these kids, and that's real to them. It's one thing for us to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's another thing when John Godina's standing there, and then I get to say, you're talking about an Olympian, a world champion. The guy threw the discus farther than I can throw a baseball, for Pete's sakes. And it becomes real to them, and they get to look that up and go, wow, they're not kidding. And he was recruited to play football at the highest of Division I levels.
Well, and also, too, it gives for those young athletes as well, as where we talk, whether it's local hockey with the Stampede or local high schools or even LCCC, it's a situation of, again, when you put that reality in front of them, where, again, here we are in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where it feels like we're kind of vast from the rest of the United States, but you put that reality of, hey, one of our own did this. He did that, something special. You can, too.
Well, and also, too, we ran into Kevin McLeod
at the first round game of the NIT. And again, Kevin, here's another thing, on staff with Tag and Lou at the time, and then Lou retires, and then Kevin retains Tag as the junior varsity basketball coach. But we're talking history there, too, where he was on staff with Jim Brandenburg, Sweet 16 Wyoming Cowboys, state championship with Cheyenne Central. So, again, all things that come into play. Matter of fact, I've been reading a lot of the Central basketball stuff that's been posted. And again, Dwayne Cook and I have been friends for how many, 20-some years now, and we still keep in touch. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was the last coach to have a perfect record in Class 4A basketball. I think Central, I believe that to be true. That was my sophomore year. 1991. We're talking 28 years ago.
I'm fortunate enough to say I had a really good seat because I got to sit on the bench. I got to suit up at regionals, but let's not kid ourselves. There was zero chance of Chad playing. And then I got to suit up and be on the bench at State and see that up close. And what a cool experience. But, yeah, you get to share those, and you want to bring and loop those people and hook those people back in to what we're trying to do.
I think that's a neat deal.
Is it a bad thing, the date that I wasn't even one at that point in time?
That wasn't a very nice thing to say.
I'm just sorry I had to say that.
Well, you want to know the nice thing about you, though, Nick?
Oh, boy, here we go.
You were conceived in between football and basketball season. There's that month off we have.
You can't say that on radio.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back after these words here at 1480 KRAE.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Are you thinking about buying a new water heater? You could spend $1,300 or more on a gas-fired water heater. Or you could spend $0 on a top-of-the-line electric water heater from High West Energy. That's right, $0. High West members can upgrade from gas to electric without spending a penny. Don't you wish all decisions were this easy? Go to highwestenergy.com to learn more or call 307-245-3261. High West Energy, the best choice, the local choice, the right choice for you. First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. They have a 16-month CD at an annual percentage yield of 2.33% and a 27-month CD at an APY of 2.74%. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
There's a place where possibilities are boundless, where curiosity runs rampant, where exploration becomes opportunity. With Laramie County Community College, you can discover the best version of yourself. It's time to take on new challenges, to enrich your life, and to create the future you deserve. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Apply today. Visit lccc.wy.edu/yourstory.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 KRAE-AM, are just that, local. Serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 KRAE.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Well, the first half hour, we just trotted down memory lane because, doggone it, we could do that on this program. Chad Whitworth, the athletic director at Cheyenne Central. I want to go back to my original question we started out with. So you are still doing some coaching baseball. Tell us a little bit what your involvement is with Post 6.
Yeah, I'm going to help Josiah Ward with the prep team. And Josiah's a guy that he moved here from Memphis. He and Ty Lane were roommates at, I believe it was Gulf Coast Community College when Ty went down there. Joe came here to kind of help Ty, and I met him through that. He's given lessons to my son. Great guy. And so I think, Jerry and I had coached those, the Jackson and Garrett's team, for a while. And then when they turned 13 last year, Tag took that over, and, they won. It was crazy. They won the AAA Colorado State Championship. So I was actually looking forward to not coaching. I enjoyed last season, and I
in a lawn chair and
just sitting out. I watched a lot of games from the back of my truck. I put my chair in there, and Tag had texted me. Ty was looking for a little help and wanted to know if I wanted to do it. And as I told Tag at the time, not particularly, and I think more so for my son. I think he's ready to have other people coach him. I'm ready to have other people coach him. But I think really what I think it boiled down to is they wanted a guy who would help with scheduling and ordering uniforms. And
you got that.
I have some experience in that. And so I think they said, we can get this out of him, and then we can sort of hide him the rest of the time. That'd be fine.
We'll keep on that theme, though, with baseball, but also, too, softball as well, too, as something that we wanted to discuss with you and, again, Jerry, and also, too, we'll get thoughts from Mark as well. But, again, rumblings did come at least earlier this year, if not 2018, of that the Athletics Association was looking at, again, bringing, or at least they were interested in the thought of, at least of softball to the high schools. But just give us your kind of thoughts on, where are things in the state of Wyoming, especially here in the city of Cheyenne? Is that possible? Is that feasible? Is that something that
doable in our really unclimate spring?
Well, I don't know that. I don't know that matters, and I say that in all seriousness. I think that it's something that the Activities Association has said if we get 8 teams, we'll sanction it, and I think they're going to get their 8 teams. We got an update today. Just that, up to this point, it had been Cody, Rock Springs, Green River that had agreed to bring it on, if they sanction. What the state said is, listen, you get 8 teams. If you have 8 teams that want to do it, we'll then sanction it. Now, that being said, it wouldn't happen until a reclass year anyway, which would not be next year, which I think was sort of the scuttle is, hey, if we hurry up and do this, we'll start next year. But that now they could suspend their rules, I suppose, but I don't think that was ever the intent is hey, we'll start this in so what do we got, 1920? We'll start it in 2021.
Now, is this a Title IX type of project where if you add softball, do you add boys baseball?
No,
okay.
Because I think I don't want to speak too much on this because it's not my place, to be quite frank. I am on the Activities Association Board of Directors.
Well, and again, what you can say and what you can't, that's fine.
Yeah, but I actually have personal feelings about it and I've shared it with folks, and I've shared it with our softball folks. As an athletic director, I go, hey, I'm all in. Because it gets more kids involved.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't speak for the district either, who has to figure out funding and all of that. So I want, everybody needs to be aware of that. That's not I don't get that responsibility. I get to speak, for myself. But I also think that you deal with some certain things as far as rules, and if it were to happen, like our club softball that we see, much like American Legion baseball, is going to drastically change because kids can't play for the high school and play for their club team. They can't. It's against our rules as the Activities Association.
Interesting.
So the club season, all of a sudden that starts, and you guys probably know better than me because I don't have a daughter, and I know they played a tournament this past weekend.
Yeah, we just talked to Adam yesterday.
Right, so they played a tournament this past weekend. Well, that's going to if we sanction that, it's going away. because they won't be able to start until our high school season
May.
is over. Yeah. And so I think there's just some things there that you gotta that I think everybody needs to understand and just be on board, right? Like Cody, Rock Springs, Green River, Laramie, those communities adding a sport that would affect a club sport is much different than Cheyenne, Casper, Gillette doing the same thing, because we take our club team. We'll use baseball as the example. Softball, obviously, you can read into it. We take baseball, and if the Activities Association sanctions baseball, Cheyenne's going to have 3 baseball teams.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take the one club team or 2. I don't, with the Mustangs as well, but they're affected by that as well, right? All of a sudden, our kids go from being on these 2 squads to now they're on 3, and they can't play with those teams until we're done. Cody, those towns with one school, their club team becomes their high school team.
All right.
They may not feel like they lose very much, and maybe our people feel they don't either. I will not speak for them,
Right.
But I think that's the stuff that has to be weighed.
And now, here would be the other part of that equation. If it did come to fruition, would you have to move soccer, women's soccer, to a fall sport?
I don't think so. I think right now it would be in the spring, and I think, and that's the other thing, Larry, that I think people.
You've got to do a lot of logistics.
Well,
here.
you just got to look at it and go, are we moving? I don't know, and I'm guessing here. Adam would absolutely be able to give you a much more solid number than I can off right now. But what I could tell you is one of the things you look at with Title IX. There's a lot to it, and I certainly don't know half of it. But just having equal offerings really doesn't solve your problem. They're looking at participation. They're looking at increased numbers and all of that on the female side of things. And if you're taking, let's say we have a ton of soccer, female soccer players that are going to go from playing soccer to playing softball. Well, we didn't increase numbers then. All we did was shift them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, again, all of those things go into that, and that's way above my intelligence level, to be quite honest with you.
All right,
it becomes a complicated mess.
So let's get into what's going on right now, because you still are athletic director. You still got athletics going on. It's springtime.
Or at least they're trying.
Mother Nature usually has the upper hand, but it is soccer. It is track season, and if I'm missing anything else, let me know.
Nope, soccer and track, and as a matter of fact, as you talk about the weather, Nick, I was on the phone with Jerry Schlabs right before I walked through the door, because obviously the weather this weekend doesn't look great, and we are to host Sheridan and Gillette and women's soccer, and so we're trying to eyeball what are we going to do and how are we going to do it with Friday, Saturday games. So we haven't made a decision. We're going to do it, hopefully make a decision tomorrow and have some stability there. But, the weather's really the key in the spring. And you talk about adding softball, and you're going, yeah, when would we have played, to this point, right? And so but, that being said, our track teams have gotten down south a little bit, and run in Colorado. And we do a lot down there. Just it's close,
and it's 10 degrees warmer.
It's warmer, and to be quite honest, when you're talking about things like adding and running a district and running an athletic department, when you have meets down there that you can go to, and save some time out of school and save some money, as far as hotels and things, rather than traveling around, the distances that we sometimes do in our state. It's good for us, and the weather, especially in track, is huge, but so they've been down there. We got soccer matches in this week with East on Thursday, and then we at Thunder Basin on Saturday. And Schlab sent me a picture of their weather on Friday, and I was sitting at Olive Garden, and he called me and said, "Hey, what's the weather like?" And I'm going, well, I'm at Olive Garden, but it looks like I'm looking at a light outside the window and it's sprinkling. And he sends me a picture of 2 inches of snow that had fallen on Oakey Blanchard Stadium. And I'm not a mile from there and going, what in the world are we living in? I mean, it was crazy.
It's a Cheyenne, Wyoming. That's all you can say at this point in time. But
this also begs the question, and again, this would have to be through the district and through the 3 schools, because all 3 schools, South, East, and Central, all have all-weather surfaces for football and for soccer. And I would venture to say McCormick now is all-weather surface, and KRAE, when it gets built, it will have that as well. Does this, and I know we're talking millions of dollars, Chad, so bear with me on this. Does this beg for the 3 schools to get that all-weather indoor facility similar to what UW has? I don't know what location you'd put it at.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously that's a fantastic idea. I mean, I think everybody would love that. And when you deal with
I win the Powerball night, I'm going to be one of your best donors.
Yeah, I was going to say 700. What is it? It's supposed to be like
million,
750 million. So if you win that, I'll call you tomorrow and we'll figure that out. But and obviously, ideally, that'd be great. I mean, it'd be great if we could figure that out. I just, how I said the whole softball thing and the Title IX thing was above my intelligence level. That one would be too.
Well,
but it would be awesome. I mean, and actually, Jerry and I talked about that today, because we actually have pursued, for an example, like a weekend like coming up, like, hey, do we contact UW and use the indoor practice facility? Because they would charge us, but so be it. I mean, when you get into some of especially the crunches of spring sports, where if we don't play soccer this weekend, we're now going to have to take those 2 games and put them somewhere, and we're going to be talking more time out of school, and then you're also talking about possibly with a minimum of 3 games, because we play 2 every week anyway. So now you're adding a game, you're going to have to put it somewhere, and possibly 4 matches in a week. That's not conducive to your athletes.
Yeah, you're kind of running risk of injury.
And so, I don't think you'd have a school that wouldn't enjoy that and having the ability to do it. And what happens there is we go, hey, we're going to go over, or if, let's say, we had a facility like that, we would say, listen, we may not be playing JV soccer. We're going to play, East Central, and if South has a home match, we'll play them back to back to back, and we're going to get all 3 varsity matches in, because we have to have those for the state soccer tournaments.
All right, we're going to take another timeout. We're going to keep Chad here. We also have a chance to look back on some of the activities that happened throughout the course of the fall and winter sports, and we'll talk more with the athletic director at Cheyenne Central, Chad Whitworth, after these words on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
MHP is a certified public accounting and consulting firm located in both Cheyenne and Fort Collins, offering accounting, tax, and consulting services to businesses, not-for-profit, government, and individual clients. MHP takes pride in their commitment to providing close, personal attention to their clients. They also continue to invest time and resources in continuing education, state-of-the-art computer technology, and valuing their relationships with you. MHP is a proud supporter of local and UW athletics. MHP, 314 West 18th Street, or call 634-2151.
Let First Education Federal Credit Union help make buying your next car a breeze. At First Education, you get competitive rates and deal with friendly local folks. Be in control by getting pre-approved and know what you have to spend before going to the dealer. Call 432-7400, go to firstedfcu.com, or visit us in person at 120 West Carlson Street with approved credit, membership eligibility required, federally insured by NCUA.
Hello, this is Pastor Nathaniel Ensley with Blessed Hope Baptist Church in Burns, Wyoming, and I would like to invite you to listen to our weekly broadcast entitled Hope for Today, right here on 1480 KRAE, every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Our goal during each broadcast is to bring you a simple and short Bible truth that will be a help to you. Sure hope you can tune in. God bless you.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call the Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be mostly sunny with highs around 67. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 36. On Thursday, it'll be mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain with highs around 61. And on Thursday night, it'll be cloudy with snow likely with lows around 31.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
And welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We're going to kind of capsulize, going from cross country to golf, into football season, wrestling, aquatics, basketball. And Chad, just a look back on 18 now as we're into 19. It's been a busy year for Cheyenne Central Athletics.
No doubt. And I think, obviously, you have the fall is so packed with stuff with tennis,
and
golf,
tennis,
cross. I mean, all of that. But you pack all that stuff with football, volleyball in there, and women's swimming. And I think the highlight for us, obviously, in the fall was our tennis teams. But your boys and girls go out and win state championships, and which was an awesome thing. And you start talking about the history, and all of a sudden we did that. And I'm not going to remember the year, so it'll probably get me in trouble. But the last time that happened, that Central won both of those, and I started getting calls from adults now, but people that were on those teams, and we had some of those team members from the last time we did it come to the banquet and share that moment with our tennis teams. And I think that's clearly the highlight of the fall. I think the other thing that, of course, everybody wants to talk about in the fall is football, and obviously for us it was kind of the beginning of a new era.
And you saw marked improvement.
Again, kind of building off of what things,
and so. But having Coach Apodaca and I think last year around this time when I was here, we didn't have a football coach, and we tied his hands a little bit with the off-season program and stuff. And I know he's chomping at the bit now with a staff put together, obviously from last year, and he's already met with kids at school. He's going to meet with the kids at McCormick, and so. To see that, program and the excitement that he brings, and again that tie into the history of what Central High School was, and he wants to kind of restore that and bring it back, and that's been awesome. And then volleyball, we're still working there, and Coach Hokinson's, they're doing club stuff and trying to build that program. So it's a work in progress, and it's something that I think our coaches are eager and willing to do, and so we're looking forward to that. And then the winter, obviously you get into, basketball, I think, is what everybody focuses on. But, we had more state placers at wrestling than we've had the last few years, and Coach Brightman and his staff have been really, working hard and doing some things. And, indoor track is so different from outdoor, partly because there's not as many schools that are doing it. When you get outside, you have all four levels and everybody has a track program. But our kids and our coaches do a nice job.
with that. And one of the things that happens with us with indoor track, and Coach Mowry is our head indoor coach, but Coach Wild, who's our head girls outdoor coach, is obviously on that staff as well. And I think they try to divvy those things up. But, we take in a lot of kids, from Southeast and from some of the smaller communities that don't offer it. We go ahead and do a combination school agreement with them and get those kids coming in. And I know the other schools do too. So, but that's kind of a unique feature, I think, to our state. I don't know how many states offer those types of things, but the ability. An example is right now in soccer, we have some Pine Bluffs, some boys from Pine Bluffs that are coming in and playing soccer with us, and so to provide those opportunities and that's one of the things I'm really proud of our coaches, that they do it and they do it willingly, and that's a cool thing. But basketball, obviously, that those two programs are building, and I think they're doing a great job, both those coaches. And that first game for our boys at state was kind of a coin toss, and we knew it was going to be. You're playing a really, really good Kelly Walsh team, and who obviously was really good. They went on and won it.
Yeah, won the whole thing.
And you've got the lead in the fourth quarter, and I thought our girls. To be honest with you, I thought our girls played extremely well. It's Coach Kirkbride has done a good job with those kids, and they've come along. And I thought they played that first round game. I thought I thought Star Valley. I don't want to say they were better than I thought because I didn't know anything about them, but they were certainly aggressive. They were a little bit bigger than maybe I had anticipated, having not seen them. But looking forward to the spring here and track and soccer, like we said earlier, those things are going. And one of the cool things, and I want to mention, and I know it's a year away, and we were talking about it at the break, but Cheyenne's going to get state soccer after this year for the next two, and I think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal for our community. It's going to bring in a lot of people. You're going to have 3A and 4A boys and girls here. So you're looking at 32 soccer teams for those state titles, and it's going to be fun, and I look forward to that and showcasing. Larry, you and I were talking about the improvements that our school district has made in facilities, and it's going to give us an opportunity to show that off and show off Cheyenne statewide, and I look forward to that for lots of reasons. One of which I think we're going to knock it out of the park, to use a baseball term. And I think that when we do that, it's going to really bode well as we start to maybe pursue some other activities association things.
Well, and also, too, again, with having at least soccer being hosted here in Cheyenne, again, what better city to do it in the state of Wyoming, where, again, you have two successful JUCO programs with men and women's soccer over at LCCC, again, with the University of Wyoming that can easily travel over. Again, it gives a lot of spotlight for these high schoolers to get onto that next level to continue those kind of athletic, careers, so to speak, for them. But looking back at least this year and kind of at least last year as well, too, for Cheyenne Central, it does seem like, back in my day, going to at least where I graduated 2008 from Cheyenne East, where Cheyenne Central was known as that school across the state of, they were winning everything. You were winning every state title in whatever sport it was. And I think right now, again, it gives credit to you and also to the at least coaches that are at least around you there at Cheyenne Central, that it is getting back to that point where the Central Iowa Indians are becoming that kind of feared school once again, of kind of building up again, where you mentioned with Coach Kirkbride and the women's, at least basketball. That was a surprise a little bit to me, where they had a phenomenal season making it back to state. Again, Tag Lady getting his boys into the state tournament. Again, with soccer at least being successful. You look with tennis, again, with Coach Karen Clark and what she did. Right now, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like Cheyenne Central is in that good direction right now, where it's a feared school across the state of Wyoming in athletics once again.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, it's a credit to the coaches and to the kids. Like I said, it's a community effort, but you do feel like, hey, we're making strides in the right direction. We do have it pointed, I think, upward, which is good. But it's one of those things that we collectively have to – We've got to make sure everybody in our program is going in the same direction. We're not good enough or big enough to just say, hey, our kids are going to go play football. You're going to play football. You're going to play basketball. You're going to play volleyball. We got to have our athletes. And I think the coaches recognize that, and I think we're doing a better job of trying to communicate with each other to help with schedules and things like that, to allow our athletes to participate in multiple things, and it's just hard. It's a lot different than it was. When you look at the baseball thing and basketball, I didn't have half the opportunity baseball wise that I watch these kids have and that my son's going to have, and so there's so much more for them, for the kids, than there was when I was doing it. That they got to make decisions at times, and it's not fun, but they got to do it.
Final thought before we let you go, and again, I want to thank Chad Whitworth, athletic director at Cheyenne Central, joining us. Chad, we had this discussion the other day about population sizes within our community, especially in our conference. The big cry was split up Gillette. Well, we did. Thunder Basin and Gillette, and except for football at Campbell County High School, other than that, I mean, athletics is still pretty well off for that little community. Are there any other indications that any other schools are going to, Laramie would be one that is size-wise the same as Gillette. Would they split off into two schools? Pretty soon we're going to hear a cry about Sheridan needs to split off into two schools.
Or Casper needs to be three.
Or Casper needs to be three. Are you hearing, or is that something that is just far away, not even going to be realistic?
Well, those are local decisions. Those aren't activities association decisions. They don't weigh in on that stuff. That's, when we decided, when I say we, I'm talking about Laramie County School District number 1, that's the school board and the district administration making a decision to add South High School. And I think we talked about that last year because that was the first year of the Thunder Basin Campbell County deal. And I think when they do things like that, you do it in the best interest of kids. And I think getting more kids involved, and as somebody who coached in the era of 2 high schools in Cheyenne, and I tried, I went over to Johnson Junior High on every year to try to meet with those kids because we were going to get us a group of those kids. And we never got very many of them, and I don't know why, and I think some of it is you were splitting that junior high up into 2 different groups, and they're like, that's a lot tougher than for the McCormick or the KRAE kids who are going to go to East, right? They come up as a group, and then you take the 3rd junior high and split them. Well, those kids are going, do I really want to do that? And I certainly understand that. And I think I applaud our district, and I applaud Gillette for, and Dr. Brown, I think, was integral in doing that up there, in doing it because I think it does benefit kids. And that's what it's about. We all want to win. We all want to win more. We all want to win the state championship. But you also want, like we talked about at the very beginning of this today, we want to influence kids, and we want kids to have a good experience, and we want kids to grow, and that gives them that opportunity. So to answer your question, that would be a local decision. I have not heard anything like that from any of the communities, but they probably wouldn't fill me in anyway.
Inquiring minds just wanted to know. Chad, thank you very much. We do appreciate you dropping on by. Coming up, we have from 8 until 9, we'll have Sherlock Holmes ×2 in our Golden Age of Radio Theater. Then we'll have Suspense Theater from 9 until 10. The best of the 50s and 60s headed your way. If I can look across the way there, I think we got Freddie Boom Boom Cannon with Palisades Park and Little Anthony and the Imperials. Hurt so bad, so we're going to send you back to 1961 along with 1964. Back to back. Solid gold right here on 1480 KRAE. You have on this date in history. What's happening?
We'll go back to March 27th, the year 1939. I'll even allow Chad on this one to figure this out. March 27th, 1939, the first ever of this happened. Think about it, is March, late March.
The first night game in Major League Baseball?
No. First ever of this. Think of March. What is going on at
Final
March?
Four.
Close enough. How about this instead? On this date in 1939, the first ever NCAA men's basketball championship was crowned. Do you know who was your first ever NCAA men's basketball champion?
Marquette and Duquesne.
Not even close. How about the University of Oregon defeats Ohio State by a final score of 46-33? So
you went 1941. I knew who was there in 43. I'm on that one too.
Good for you.
All right. Hey, again, thank you to Chad Whitworth, Kevin McGlue.